Y'all, 2024 is just a killer year. We haven't seen years this packed since like the late 90s. And we've already had a ton of great games come out thus far this year, and I even made a video on all the great games that you can go ahead and purchase so far this year. But there's still a lot more games that I am looking forward to coming out. 15 so far that I want to go over and let you guys know all about. And if you are new to the channel, please be sure that you subscribe for some more top 10s, news, and reviews, and also smash that like button to show your love. And now, let's get started going over all these great games that are releasing for the rest of the year that I really have to have. First up, Final Fantasy XVI The Rising Tide DLC, releasing on April 18th for the PS5. I played through and beat Final Fantasy XVI as well as its DLC last year, and well, yeah, it's not the most RPG-ish game that I've ever played in my entire life. I still did have a good time with it, and it takes a lot for me to actually want to download DLC because normally whenever I'm like done with a game, I'm just done with the game. But this tale concerns the long-lost icon of water, the dominant of Leviathan, and a journey to Mysidia. Not only that, but there's some new endgame content, such as the Kairos Gate, and more than likely a whole new ending. And if there was one thing that I was disappointed about the first time around, it was definitely that crumb bum ending. Number 2, Eiyuden Chronicles 100 Heroes, releasing on April 23rd for the PS4, Xbox, Switch, and PC. I want this game like now. This really is Suikoden 6 in all but name. Thankfully, because I did back the Kickstarter, I was able to get access to the beta demo, and let me tell you, that just blew me away. Everything that you know and love from Suikoden is here, from the 6-person battles to the unique leveling system, to the runes and the blacksmith, and even a glorious world map. If you are a fan of old school RPGs at all, then you definitely owe it to yourself to check this one out, because it is worth every single last penny. And whenever that demo ended, I felt like a piece of me had died. I just need this in my life. Number 3, Saga Emerald Beyond, releasing on April 25th for the PS4, PS5, Switch, mobile, and PC. I've been a big fan of the Saga series ever since I played the first ones on the Game Boy back in the 1980s. And now Saga is back with a vengeance, featuring 6 different characters to choose from, along with 17 diverse worlds to explore, ranging from subterranean lands to ancient Japanese worlds, to even a world filled with sentient plants. Here, no 2 playthroughs will ever be the same, as the game was actually designed with multiple playthroughs in mind. So, as you enter a world the second or even the third time, you will not see the same story twice. Each world has multiple stories to tell from multiple viewpoints. The demo was fantastic, and I just cannot wait to experience the entire game. Number 4, Paper Mario and the Thousand Year Door Remake, releasing on May 23rd for the Nintendo Switch. The Mario RPG franchise is kind of a strange one. While it did begin as a traditional RPG, it quickly became spin-off city, with the Paper series as well as the Mario and Luigi series. And while we haven't heard hide nor hair of Mario and Luigi since portable gaming became a thing of the past, the Paper series seems to still be going on strong. And much like Saga, the best Paper Mario games were the first ones, with this entry originally released on the GameCube easily being the best Paper Mario game ever created. Here, you have to master these timed attacks and then use your badges to impress the audience on the stage of combat, all while keeping the nefarious X-Nauts from getting the treasures behind the Thousand Year Door. Number 5, Shin Megami 5 Vengeance, releasing on June 14th for the PS4, PS5, Xbox, Switch, and PC. Ever since I was first introduced to this long-running series with Revelations of the Demon Slayer back on the Game Boy Color, I have just loved SMT. It's just so different, unique, and hard. I mean, you're fighting off gods and demons here. Don't expect to walk through the park. And while the original did release on the Switch and it was an exclusive there, and it was one of the best exclusives that the console had for many years, now here it's going multi-platform, and it promises to really flesh out the entire story with an all-new path that you can take. Not only are new story elements introduced, but the battle system, demon fusion, and field exploration have also been streamlined too, so this should be a lot of fun. Number 6, The Legend of Heroes Trails Through Daybreak, releasing on July 5th for the PS4, PS5, Switch, and PC. I've been a huge fan of the Trails series for over a decade now, starting back with the Gagharv trilogy, then moving on to the Sky trilogy. That's whenever I really did fall in love. And well, yeah, some of the bloat and the blabbing can definitely get on my nerves. I do think that it's worth it for the world building, incredible characterization, and the fun, fast-paced battle system. Here, we are finally moving out of Erebonia and into Calvard, and I cannot wait to leave Reen and his little harem in the dust and see what the eastern side of Zemuria has to offer. This game actually marks the second half of the long-running series and features an alignment system based upon law and chaos as well as neutrality. But not only that, the combat has also been divided into real-time and turn-based mode, and you can switch between them freely at will. Number 7. Visions of Mana, releasing this summer for the PS4, PS5, Xbox, and PC. I love the Mana series, especially the first few games of it. You know, that is, before they started up that whole world of mana garbage and got all experimental with it. This here is a return to form, and it's really showcasing that Square is learning that all their newfangled weirdo stuff is not what we want. We want the basics. We want what worked. They're learning this first with their HD 2D remakes. They're learning this with Star Ocean: The Divine Force and Triangle Strategy, and even Dragon Quest Monsters: The Dark Prince. Here, they definitely went off the deep end for a while, but this is a return to form, a mana game where you explore massive open regions and then use the mana spirits to help in combat as well as exploration. With a great party full of diverse characters and the cutest little pickle I've ever seen, this is probably going to be my game of the summer. Number 8, Beloved Rapture, releasing for the PC this summer. It's not often that I'll put an indie RPG on a list like this, so you know it had better be good, and this one is. This is an SNES-inspired JRPG reminiscent of Lufia 2 and Chrono Trigger, where here you play as Johann, who on his 18th birthday has to leave his small town and head off to the big kingdom, only his best friend Zack doesn't want him to go. Too bad though that the shit hits the fan before he can make his own choice. The dungeons are beautiful and full of puzzles, and encounters are on-screen and turn-based. And I actually put a review out of the demo of this quite some time ago, but it has changed a lot since then, and everything that I've seen says that this is shaping up to be a true indie hidden gem. Number 9, Fantasy Life I, The Girl Who Steals Time, releasing on October 10th for the Nintendo Switch. I absolutely adore Level 5, as well as Fantasy Life series, and I played the first one extensively back on the 3DS, and now we see that we're not only getting a new entry into the Fantasy Life series, but Level 5 themselves is re-entering the Western market, so this is definitely a cause for celebration. The upcoming sequel looks to expand the gameplay of the original with new lives to live and plenty of activities to jump into. I've always loved this series because of the diversity of options. You can choose to live your life as a warrior or a sorcerer, or you could also venture forth as a fisherman, a chef, a lumberjack, or a miner, and then just going about your day, doing your chores, and carving out your dream. This is like a perfect fall RPG to cozy on up to. Number 10, Metaphor ReFantazio, releasing this fall for the PS4, PS5, Xbox, and PC. I don't know too much about this game except to say that it looks absolutely fantastic, and it's given me Lost Odyssey vibes of all things, as well as a little bit of Rogue Galaxy too. Here, you play as the traveling boy as he rounds up a party to venture through a fantasy world where its kingdom is on edge due to underlying conspiracies, and it's actually kind of an exciting change of pace for Atlas, who always seems to want to pump out as much Persona and SMT as humanly possible. So yeah, this will include an anime turn-based style combat and social sims, but it's also their first high fantasy RPG not set in high school. And I, for one, really do miss those days when Atlas put out all sorts of different RPGs, and not just Persona spin-offs every 5 seconds. Number 11, Ys 10 Nordics, releasing this fall for the PS4, PS5, Switch, and PC. I absolutely adore the Ys series, having first played it whenever I was a kid, but I wasn't truly hooked until about the PS2 era. You see, back in the day, we didn't get every single RPG released like we do nowadays, and sometimes the releases that we did get weren't exactly the best in the series either, like Ys 3. But things have changed for the better nowadays, and here Adol is shipwrecked in their version of Normandy, France, and he sets off to explore with the help of Karja, a Norman pirate. And as each Ys game is just another entry into Adol's diary, they don't exactly go in order, and you also don't have to have played the previous games to understand what's going on. Chronologically, this takes place after the second game whenever he's only 17 years old. But I can't wait to join up with him, and especially that sexy Dogi, and go on yet another mystical journey. Number 12, Quartet, releasing in Quarter 4 for the PC. Here we have another indie RPG on this list, but it definitely deserves its spot. From the makers of Shadows of Adam, this has been greatly inspired by Live Alive, Octopath Traveler, classic Final Fantasy, and even Saga Frontier. Right from the get-go, you have 4 scenarios to play through, where you'll get introduced to a total of 8 characters, and once those scenarios are completed, all of your character stories will converge. Then, of course, you'll be off to save the world. And while you might think that the story does take a back seat, kind of like the aforementioned Saga or Octopath series, that isn't the case. This tells a fully fleshed out tale that has quite a lot of love and care that have gone into it, and I can't wait to see the finished product. Number 13, Kingdoms of the Dump, releasing in Quarter 4 for the PC. Here we have the last indie RPG on this list, and y'all know that I love a good SNES RPG. This one here, though, is set in a fantasy world full of garbage, and is actually created by 2 full-time janitors. So if that isn't life imitating art, I don't know what is. Here you play as Dustin Binsley, a trash can knight who travels across the 5.5 kingdoms of the dump, fighting off fearsome, filthy foes and braving dangerous dungeons, all to take on the disgusting and toxic gremlin army to save the dump from all-out war. This has turn-based, grid-based combat along with timed hits and no random encounters at all, as well as a ton of secret puzzles and platforming and an expansive Mode 7 world map. Now, these developers might be janitors by day, but hopefully soon they'll be full-time game developers because this looks mint. Number 14, Sky Oceans Wings for Hire, releasing sometime in 2024 for the PS5, Switch, and PC. Skies of Arcadia is one of my favorite games of all time, so this is billed as an homage to not only the JRPG classics, but it is a spiritual successor to that little gem, and it's really piquing my interest. Here, you are able to explore towns and dungeons and whatnot on foot, but once you're out in the open skies, you'll be taking part in turn-based dogfights with your airship as you unite your party of ragtag sky pirates against the Alliance. Not only that, but the visuals are Studio Ghibli inspired, which definitely makes for diverse environments and memorable characters. I myself cannot wait to fly off to new towns and find new cultures and help them solve all their little tiny JRPG problems and then gain their support against the evil Alliance. And finally, number 15, Suikoden 1 and 2 HD Remastered, The Gate Rune and Dunon Unification Wars, releasing sometime in 2024 for the PS4, Xbox, Switch, and PC. There is a reason why Suikoden is such a masterpiece series, and it has a lot to do with these first 2 games that set up the entire series for success. And while both of them are a bit on the shorter side, especially the first one, that does not mean that they are bad in the slightest. In fact, these 2 were some of the best games released on the original PlayStation, telling stories of friendship, betrayal, love, and loss, and featuring some of the best villains as well as the best characters in all of gaming. I know that these 2 games were rare, and I know that they're hard to come by, so I know that many of y'all probably haven't played these, but I have through multiple times, and I am telling you, you will love them. And here's hoping that Konami gets their shit together and creates a real, true Suikoden 6. So that's it there for the top 15 RPGs that I'm most looking forward to for the rest of the year. What games are you most looking forward to? Did I miss any? Let me know in the comments, and let's all get a discussion going on here, and let's all talk and chat about it. And if you like what I do here on the channel, please head on over to the Patreon side for early access to my videos, as well as behind-the-scenes photographs. The link to it is over in the video description. And as always, please like, comment, and subscribe, and have a good day.